Hello everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of Prismata. Let's jump into the queue. X Yatsuba is streaming. I don't remember if I've ever seen him stream. I know I've heard him like on a Discord call with other people who are streaming. Maybe it's new, maybe I've just like never noticed. At any rate, these two playing against each other should be pretty strong. Pretty exciting. I'm a little dubious about these two Lance Teeth. It's usually not correct to try to build double Lance Tooth in a set where you're just absorbing on something wall-sized. Usually you do better to just like try to start doing the damage. Rather than like try to deny them absorb and then 2 turns from now you get like more attack. That's not to say that it's wrong here, but like the rules of thumb that I know about tell me that this is not a great idea. Suggest to me that it's not a great idea. Why force field? Granularity? I guess. Like obviously you're defended. You're killing 2 nitrocides, right? But okay, yes. 1 wall and a force field makes sense. 2 walls and a force field, I was a little confused. There's some like slight granularity concerns, but opponent attacks for like, let's say 3 less than this. I don't know, I think it's fine granularity wise. The main question is just like going to be, can you survive the Scorch Wave? Because after that I think you're well ahead, attacking 10 per turn while your opponent attacks 8 or 9 per turn and you have more drones. You don't have red and like nitrocides are cool, but you do have more blue. What are the wall supplies like? Both quite high. So this is like the big turn. If Jamboree can survive this, I think he's in good shape. And it looks like he can quite comfortably survive. Oh, that's not... The Scorches aren't timed. Okay, I thought they were both coming in, and then this would be a bigger, like, danger turn. You have to survive this attack, and then the next attack's going to be just as big, so it's less of a decider. But it still seems like you're fine. He survived this without any particular effort, and the next one's going to be just as easy to survive. Ish. So, I don't know. I guess if I had to pick a side, I'd pick Jamboree here. But Ferals are pretty cool, right? That's access to a lot of soak. Like, it kind of, your red equals to, like, roughly another Blast Forge, because you can build 3 soak for $5. But it costs you your green to do that, which you'd rather have for force fields. So walls are better, but on the other hand, like, if you're using only walls, you'll run out of supply faster. I'd be a little surprised if wall supply determined the winner to this game, but I guess it's not impossible. What Jamboree would love to do is get a doomed mech. And this might be the turn to do it when there's... No, next turn. If you're going to be able to do it, it would be next turn when there's not a Scorch breathing down your throat. Down your neck? What's the idiom? Breathing down your neck, right? I think it would be reasonable to hold a drone instead. Because you wouldn't end up losing the drone in almost any reasonable way your opponent would attack, and then you still have the option to force field it this turn if you want, but you don't have to. I think that would have been an improvement. Wouldn't have made a tremendous difference, it looks like. Okay, so this is, I predicted, if you were going to get a doomed mech, this would be the turn to do it. And it doesn't look very easy to do. So maybe it's just never happening. And we got another Urban, which is almost as good, really, right? sort of slow soak. And a bigger absorber would be great, but you know, getting more soak that's also attacking is pretty cool too. Yeah, Yatz was having to hold drones because he doesn't have enough green now. And I don't think the coming turn should be too much of an issue, but I haven't done the math. It just like seems like things are getting easier, not harder. Since we survived last time, I predict we'll survive next time. Wall supplies, though? Getting low. Oh yeah, another urban, that's so great. Do we even need a force field? We don't, right? Opponents losing... Oh yeah, we do. Otherwise they'd reach exact by clicking the side. Which I don't know, maybe he can't click the side, in which case we should gambit it, but there's not really any need to be so aggressive when we're, I think, winning anyway. Okay, well, I had sort of hoped that we would get matched with someone before this game ended, because these guys both stand a good chance of crushing me. Hey, we found someone else. Look at that, Killer Queen. I've never heard of this person. I think they were the person playing the other live game that I looked at just before this, we started this one. But I'm not sure. You didn't see it. I looked before I started the recording. Well, gosh, blue-green, huh? Look at that. Goodness. Relatively, like, there's some good arguments for going slow, namely Zamora, Grid, Matrix. But there are some arguments for going fast as well. Thermite Core being the main one. Grenade Mech kind of, you know, you could try to like put together some rush involving those things. Cryo Ray and Cluster are also like incitements to go fast. But I think Thermite Core is the main reason you would want to go fast here. Because, you know, you deny... The reason for going slow is when building attack is bad. And building attack is rarely bad when you can just turn it into pixies if it would be so absorbed. I mean, like... Zamora Cluster is like a thing. Kind of. A little. And... It's just a question of like how imposing is Thermite Core, I guess. I think like also Cluster Bolt is kind of a very light counter to Thermite Core. Right? If opponent's about to deny you all absorb, you give them 1 extra damage and like they can't anymore. Okay, so this is cool. Opponent is not going to test me on Thermites, right? So I have the option to go high econ if I want. I could try the Thermite thing, try to punish them, or I could go for Zamora. I like both of those better than like a straight third engineer. I think it's really great to get a Zamora when things are going to be kind of slow. And like with Cluster Bolt, you can kind of make use of your excess green, so it's not such a big deal to build early conduits. It's not like such a wasted investment. It's not as good an argument as Trinity Drone would be, but it still like helps. Or like Fission Turret. Wow, that would be great, right? Fission Turret, Thermite, Zamora. Yikes. I think we want to get Zamora first and then head into blue, rather than try the Thermite thing. I just don't really feel that that's going to be fast enough. Even piling up 8 damage per turn is not a huge deal when an opponent has access to like infusion grids and stuff. Yeah. So let's try to go for Zamora. And like Thunderhead's another incitement, right? We'll have access to a lot of green. We can easily plop down a Thunderhead at some point. Are you gonna build 3? No, right? No way. Okay, cool. Alright, 3rd engineer into stopping at 14 drones. That's something I like to see, usually. Now, at this stage, there's a lot of things I could do. I could pick up a blast forge to get me into, like, grids. But opponent has the tech to buy thermites to make that bad, so I'm not a huge fan of that line. So, another conduit doesn't seem great. 2nd drone seems pretty clear if we're not getting a forge or a conduit. And then the question is, like, what else? 3rd Engie? I don't think we need to be so greedy. I guess I should get the forge, so that, like, opponent has to spend their blue on thermites instead of on something else, if they want to be effective. And that'll make it, like, sort of possible for me to, like, get a little bit of thermite value myself, if they decide not to attack or whatever. Or if they decide to prep thermites. This turn they actually can't thermite, so that's kind of nice. They can't thermite and have to attack anyway. Yeah, so I think we'll go, like, a bit... Well, what am I doing next turn, though? Like, grid... I can't get 2 more drones and get a forge. I don't really need a 2nd forge yet, do I? I'm thinking maybe I should cut this and get a 2nd drone. But that just makes it too easy for them to, like, buy 2 attackers and start chipping away. I think I need to have access to blue at this point. Like, we're tied on drones, and I have a build time 6 Zamora that opponent doesn't have, right? That seems pretty cool. I don't love this wall. Could maybe instead be, like, a grid? But I'd have the same, like, total eventual amount of health, but I'd have fewer engineers, and the absorb of the grid would not really be worth all that much, so I'm not so keen on that idea. I think I'm more excited to, like, try to get more tech so I can, like... Well, I don't really want more tech right now, do I? I want, like, a splitter, and then next turn... Sorry, next turn I'll get, like, a splitter and a 2nd forge. With that, I can buy, like, a splitter and a thermite or something. I'm not sure why 3 conduits is a good number. I guess I get a 2nd... Or a 3rd conduit here, right? Like, instead of floating 4, that just has to be good. With Cluster Bolt and, like, Cryo Rays, you could never be sad to have green. And obviously Zamora. Next turn I threaten a Thunderhead, which is interesting, but probably not actually relevant. It just might scare opponent into, like, overreacting to a Thunderhead that I don't think I should build. Well, the Thunderhead is not looking so bad anymore all of a sudden, right? But I don't think I need it. Like, I could just do this. It seems kind of dumb. I could get a grid here. I don't, like, they're gonna be tagging for at least 6. Actually, if I built a Thunderhead, they could kill it with a Cluster Bolt and, like, another attacker. So Thunderhead would be terrible. Okay, good. Let's not do that then. Let's just do this to be ready for their attack, and, like, I can start adding... Is there any reason to, like, do this? it gives me 2 damage and gives them 1. It's terrible. Anyway, like, a Matrix would be nice. They're not going to be able to Thermite it, so I don't see why I shouldn't do this. And, like, I can Grenade Mech the excess blue one day. Or just use it as soak so that my Zamora lives. And if they don't add any more attack, I'll probably just, like, get a Thermite and some attackers. Right, like, who cares about this damage? It's not even clear to me that I need an engineer. What would it be for, right? They're going to be attacking for, like, basically nothing next turn. Yeah, let's save the money. I might use it for something. I can get, like, a grenade mech next turn, maybe. Well, okay, maybe... They're trying to deny value by sinking ISOs, but with these 2 splitters already attacking, that's a very marginal value. So I could just, like, they're going to be attacking for what, like 12? At least? Probably ought to be more, right? I could consider getting a Thunderhead just to soak it. It's, like, not great, but it's fine. Although a Thunderhead, like, after that might be even... Like, if I can build a Thunderhead on the turn when they're attacking with ISOs, he'll get more value. But that's assuming I can, like, manage to do that. It might be sort of hard. Whoops, my phone is making noise. Pardon me. I usually remember to mute my phone before I started recording, but not today. I kind of want Grenade Mech, but that's adding extra attack that I can't Thermite, and so that kind of sucks. Like, I could do this, but it's pretty stupid to get it non-prompt, I feel like. I don't know. Do I need more conduits? Well, first of all, this cluster bolt is... Ah. Is this, like, ridiculous? The damage they're doing to me is worth nothing, and I can turn the 4 damage into, like, Thermite nonsense. I'll want some engineers, but, like, they attack for 12. I build, let's say, a Matrix, right? I have 4, 8, 10 already. So... 12, 13, 14? Seems good. And this ISO will make it easier to utilize these Thermites on the next turn. I guess the Thermites are only going to add Pixies once, and then I'll start clicking Zamora, so maybe they're not that useful. It's just letting me turn my green into Pixies, which I don't love, but... Yeah, maybe this is all the wrong idea. But otherwise, I'm just not... I don't know. I don't like this. I want to be able to get that Thunderhead next turn, and that means I won't have a ton of green. So let's get the Matrix now, even though it's not doing a lot. Eight, 10, 11. I can, like, get a force field or 2 next turn. And still click Zamora and get some green. Oh, it won't be clicking Zamora until later, but whatever. This seems okay. That Thunderhead is adding more damage than I expected. Would be a, like... I didn't really anticipate them adding this much attack, is what I'm saying. So maybe I'm not building my own Thunderhead. But I don't really need to because next turn I'm just killing theirs. Right, I just do like this basically and force field defense. Keep droning. Do I need another conduit? Not really. What are we attacking for next turn? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 11. So I don't want to add any clusters right now. I just want to get some NGs back. Maybe instead of NGs I should add cryos. No, I'm not. I'm just clicking down the Thunderhead next turn. So just NGs are better. I could get a drone, but I think that's pretty greedy. They're going to be killing most of what I have. Yeah, I feel like opponent is just sinking ISOs because they like know it's sort of sometimes a good thing to do and not really recognizing that right now is not one of those times that it's important. Now is a great time to get my own Thunderhead. It will get actual value, assuming that I can like still fire Zamora, which I clearly cannot. Okay, just checking. I want to start selling off my excess blue, I think. A cluster bolt is free. Well, the damage it does to me does nothing. And it costs me green, but like I'm kind of good at that, so let's just go in for it. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to click any of your splitters. You're not happy to defend with them, but it's not like attacking with them does anything. It would really help you get another cryo so you can, like, freeze my matrix. Well, whoops. Sort of assumed I would be defended. As you can see, I'm, like, a tiny bit short. I'll just hold this splitter. It's fine. I don't mind if he dies. I mean, I'm not happy about it, but I could also consider force fielding and offering a gambit. Right? I don't think it's a good one, but I could. I don't think I should, though. Eight green. That should be plenty. I don't need any more defense next turn. You know what? Let's, I'm not sure it's really so great to sell back my blue. Maybe I just shouldn't sell the blue then. How great is adding damage, though? It seems pretty great, is my opinion. And that's what clicking this did. Like, I spend $6 for some damage. Maybe the money would be better spent on conduits, so I can maybe one day get a Thunderhead. Like this. Next turn I'm attacking for 8, 10, 12, 13. Is there any reason 12 would be better? I could get an ISO in that case? I don't think so. I said 13 instead of 14 because I expect the splitter to be dead. Yeah, I don't want to sell back my Forge because buying infusions on the ISO off turn is like amazing. Or maybe actually a second Matrix so that they can't buy a 5th Cryo to freeze my only Matrix. But maybe like them buying a 5th Cryo is sort of a pipe dream that they're never going to be able to manage. I'm not sure. Like just because I'm attacking for enough? Really? I think I accept, don't I? I mean, let's see what that looks like. Like, I lost 2 absorb, they're losing 3. And... I can still do, like, this? More conduits, please. Honestly, let's just get another Forge. I love blue. Do I click this? Like, I love blue, but also... I love... dealing damage? 8, 11, 12, 13 is what I threaten. They only have 15 drones worth of stuff to build defenses with, so I'm reaching for a bazillion either way. I mean, each pixie is basically killing a drone, isn't it? So that's gotta be worthwhile. Actually, I don't want this. I want to buy a Thunderhead next turn. The only way to accumulate 2 green is by not spending any this turn. Then I'll have 5, in addition to the 8 that Zamora needs. So... I don't know, just wait for them to resign, I guess. Game's over. Very good. I was gonna get a Thunderhead note, though. I think they should know that and appreciate it. Alright. I don't actually know, like, in sets where high econ is an option and Zamora is an option, like whether... I think Zamora is just a powerful enough unit that you should prioritize it over drones, but you then want to get drones after. Which is what I did here. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're supposed to go 3rd NG into drones. What you shouldn't do is go like 3rd NG into drones and then very quickly pivot into attackers. This is a pretty big set, one that you don't want to like rush out attackers in. So stopping so early was a problem. I think it would have at least posed somewhat more of a problem for me if my opponent had just like gotten a million drones while I wasn't ready to attack and then tried to thermite me somehow. But they really just set stuff up to keep bumping into my absorber, I think. You know, being able to do something like this is pretty useful, and I don't think would have been that hard for them to arrange. You know, if you just like add 1 thermite core to what they have, for example, you could like click it on the ISO off turns and not click it on the ISO on turns, and you're back to denying full absorb. In that way, it would be useful to sync the ISOs, but if you're already giving me 2 absorb, like the main value of ISO, i.e. that you can use it to deny absorb on the off turns, does not apply very much here. So that was sort of what was wrong with the opponent's general approach. What do I have to say about specific things that happened in this game? This was a turn I did a lot of thinking on, I think, about like what it is I wanted to add. Like, do I want a second forge? What am I doing with my blue? When am I getting thermite? When am I getting matrix? When am I getting grid? The third conduit was like, I don't know, kind of questionable, but with things like cluster, cryo, and thunderhead, I think there are plenty of good reasons to have access to spare green. Obviously Zamora is like the big one, but you usually don't build a third conduit that early in like Zamora plus base. I felt it was excusable here because there were other uses for the green, and I did use it. The preemptive matrix feels a bit bad. I forget why I thought this was a good idea. Was I thinking of building a thunderhead or something? I think I was. I was hoping they wouldn't add quite, 7 threat. But that was sort of optimistic. I also, when I bought the ISO, I didn't really notice it was timing together with Zamora. That would have been an important thing to note. I only realized it like later. I just sort of was like, oh, it's an attacker I can buy that won't overload my thermite core. Great, let's get it. The other thing that I hadn't really considered when analyzing the set, and I didn't see until opponent bought the Thunderhead, is like how good thermite is against, like, as a deterrent to Thunderhead. If I didn't have these 4 pixies, it would have been harder to click down this Thunderhead. Like, I bought this ISO like sort of just for fun, and it means that I have 11 attack anyway. But if I hadn't like decided to do it just for fun, I'd have only 10 attack. And then the fact that this Thermite had built pixies would be a big deal. So you can imagine the game going in a slightly different direction, where the Thunderhead would be really great arriving on my Zamora turn if I hadn't bought Thermite Core to deal with it. The Thermite Core is sort of insurance, so like no matter what kind of weird build I take, I can always handle Thunderhead. I didn't do it that way on purpose, but it's, something I should have thought of. And I don't know, the game was just very relaxing at this point. There was really nothing that could go wrong for me once I killed the Thunderhead. I guess not having enough green is kind of something that could go wrong if I do things like, get the Thunderhead, but defending's not really a big problem. I even got this Gauss Charge, or Cluster Bolt, and built a bunch more Pixies. I don't know, this wasn't the turn they resigned, but it's a pretty friggin' big turn. It was nice to like actually get a Cluster Bolt that could deny enemy value, right? They synced up so much attack that I could get Cluster Bolts for free. Again, not free, it costs green, but it doesn't cost attack. Right? If Cluster Bolt didn't say construct a Gauss Charge for your opponent, it would be nuts. And you can often find ways to use it as if it were that unit on turns when your opponent doesn't want any attack. This was kind of a problem. Why did I end up in a spot where I had to sack my splitter? I guess the answer is I built too many conduits and didn't predict how much attack opponent would have on the previous turn, right? This turn here, when I got the grenade mech instead of, say, buying infusion grids, which is like kind of the natural, like, ISOs are coming up, what do? Buy some infusion grids, right? To deviate from that by building grenade mech, I should have done more analysis to conclude that I would be okay. I just figured, like, I have a matrix, I have walls, I should be fine. I have like 7 engineers, won't that be enough? But like, no, they're attacking for a lot. If I had cut a conduit and an engie and gotten, well, no, just cut the grenade mech and get 2 infusions or something, I would have been easily fine. Or even an infusion and a splitter or something. I don't know. Ramping up attack with the grenade mech also seemed really great. Made them build 3 force fields, lose a splitter, right? I don't know. I mean, I was kind of winning whatever I did here, but having to hold the splitter back kind of sucks. And I should have just not put myself in that position. I think I, again, win whether I take this gambit or not. But taking it seemed pretty clearly winning, and so I didn't go back and evaluate not taking it. Right, like how can they ever survive this? Whereas, you know, things are just very rosy for me. And they give up. Very good. Alright, well, a nice simple, not simple, an easy game, but sort of a complicated one because there's just so many things you can buy. And big econ games tend to be games where there's lots more room for maneuvering. Lots more room for small mistakes, and small mistakes don't cost you the game, but you tend to make more of them than in like a low econ red game where the first mistake loses the game. Anyway, kind of cool. It's fun to get to play a laid-back Zamora set. Try to add some pressure to it with pixies and thermites and stuff. But that's all for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.